London CNN. The British government is preparing for a difficult weekend. It's difficult because Rishi Sunak, a prime minister whose grip on power seems to be slipping at every turn, is a crisis-time leader who seemingly struggles to deal with crises. On Saturday, Britain will celebrate Armistice Day, date that marks the effective end of First World War. Also on Saturday, pro-Palestinian protesters will march in central London to demand a ceasefire in the Israel-Hamas conflict. The march will end in front of the U.S. Embassy in South London. At one point, Sunak wanted to prevent march from taking place out of fear that protesters would damage the Cenotaph, a memorial in central London dedicated to war dead. The Cenotaph is the focal point of Britain's Remembrance Sunday, an annual event that takes place on the second Sunday in November. Every living UK Prime Minister places a wreath at the monument, along with other senior politicians, visiting dignitaries and members of the royal family. Needless to say, the Cenotaph is a monument that means a lot to many British people. It has been the target of vandalism from protesters of all stripes in the past, causing great offense to many. Home Secretary Suella Braverman listens to Prime Minister Rishi Sunak speak at a press conference following the introduction of new legislation on immigration channel crossings in Downing Street on March 7, 2023. Sunak wanted to stop the protest from taking place altogether. He later had to accept that the march would continue. After all, freedom to protest is an important part of democracy. Banning such a protest in the name of those who for precisely such freedoms is not the best look. For Armistice Day, acknowledging that the march would go ahead, Sunak stuck his line that choosing protest this particular weekend was not only disrespectful but also a detriment. Our heartfelt gratitude, the memory of those who gave so much for us, live freely. Peace today. Then Sunak's Home Secretary, controversial Tory firebrand Suella Braverman, stepped in to up the ante. On Thursday morning, an article by Braverman appeared in the Times of London accusing police of bias in dealing with protesters. Members of Extinction Rebellion interrupt Home Secretary Suella Braverman as she speaks during the National Conservatism Conference at the Emmanuel Center on May 15, 2023 in London, England. During COVID, why public order police giving nothing lockdown objectors, but Black Lives Matter's demonstrators allowed to break rules. They being allowed break rules. And they even greeted by police officers taking a knee, Braverman asks. He goes on to call protesters who will march London this weekend hate marchers and compares people marching support of Palestinians Gaza to those who supported Northern Irish terror groups the 1970s and 1980s. All this came as Sunak was speaking chairman of Met and trying to calm situation ahead of Saturday. She even went so far as say that she had been given a surah